High school students are on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Reddit, and that's fine. But I really try to help them maintain a level head. The biggest assumption is they fall in love with a brand name. Clients, and I call the kids the clients. The parents pay the bills, but the applicant is my client. And if a parent isn't comfortable with that, we're probably not a good match. Falling in love with one school is a recipe for tragedy. Falling in love with 5 schools and falling in like with 5 more is a great way to go. The coolest kid they've ever known walked around with their Wesleyan hoodie, and they fall in love with Wesleyan. Of course, Wesleyan is not a typical. It might be Brown. Brown is a pretty typical one where before they've ever visited, before they've ever seen it, they're in love. And they make all kinds of assumptions. But something that parents, a whole lot of parents and clients, an assumption they make is that you should go to the most selective school you get into. I have worked with many students who could or did get into a Harvard or an MIT, but either shouldn't have gone or didn't go because there's an atmosphere at those schools that is extremely competitive. And getting attention from or relationships with professors is very difficult. Some students are just very intellectually engaged, but they aren't fighters. And not everybody has to be a fighter. And if you go off to a UPenn, any Ivy, you're going to have to fight for your education to an extent. And so the big assumption is you want to get into the hardest school there is to get into. Life has rejection. None of my clients get into every single school. If they built a list where they get into every single school, I haven't helped them build a great list. Because if they apply to 5 of the most selective schools in the country, sure, maybe 1 in my decade plus of doing this has gotten into every school, but literally 1. So you have to aim high and be sensible at the same time. And the assumptions can run from I'm never going to get anywhere to if I apply to all 8 Ivy League schools, I'm going to get into it. And we can have a whole nother conversation about the parents who come to me and say, and it's usually the parents, not the kids, and say, we're going to apply to all the Ivies. And I immediately think maybe this isn't going to be a good fit, because if I explain to them that the same young person who is going to be happy in the woods of Hanover, New Hampshire, or the far-flung, cold, freezing tundra of Ithaca, New York, is probably not the same kid who's going to be happy in Philadelphia or Manhattan. And if you're just basing it on them being in one sports league, you're going about the process in a way that I can't support. So the assumption that Ivy is the way to go is a really dangerous one.